What's going on, everybody? Welvin Web Snapper here. It's good to be back on YouTube again, finishing another project. It's been a minute, but it's because two things. One, this project took a long time. Two, I haven't been buying a lot of figures and stuff for my display. I've just been doing a little bit more with my own kind of art stuff that's non-related to figures. So, yeah, I just finally finished this. Oh, and another reason I had to buy this from AliExpress, which I've mentioned throughout this video, of course, and that takes like 3 to 4 weeks. So I was practicing just displaying the figures and coming up with their placement without Ghost Rider, and then eventually I added them in, and you'll see that progression of how I come to this in the video, as you know, as we typically do. And before I get into the video, I'll go ahead and show you some of the other things that I've done to the collection since I last posted, new additions and just changes to this shelf. Got Jocasta for a really good price, I think like 10 bucks. So she's now added to the shelf, and then because I added her, I wanted somebody else to go in here, and we got Hellcat. So it adds a little bit more yellow and color to the shelf, which I'm always liking. Yeah, we could use an upgrade, but I'd probably have her doing something very similar to Tigra, so I can't really complain all that much. Next up, at some point these figures fell. I don't know if I showed it on here yet, but I had to reset it up, and I just chose a little bit of a different approach, this time starting with the core normal Avengers in the middle, and then the newer additions to this Hickman era, and my customs really are now pushed towards the outside. And oh god, my shadow. So this is what it looks like now. So pretty cool. And I also got this. I want to get Spider-Man and Venom because as a kid my favorite characters were Spider-Man, Venom, and Carnage. Really, it was Spider-Man and Carnage, and then Venom. And I always wanted the 3-pack from the Maximum Carnage series, from that basically packaged these. So I got him for like $3 at the same store that I got Jocasta from. So I want to get all three because, you know, I'm healing my inner child. We have Dragon Man included to the Fantastic Four display, and I did change it up a little bit, so it still looks sick. And I mean change it up, I just meant this group. I won't be messing with them or this figure really moving forward. So this looks good. And then we'll go over to this shelf. I added my Clone Wars Anakin and Obi-Wan and Kenobi Vader. So sick. Come over here. This also fell, and really Shazam fell. So I redid his pose, and when he fell, he knocked over some of the characters. And so I just modified their poses, and looks cool. But the thing I'm most proud of to show y'all is I finally figured out what to do with my Batman. And I used the Temu displays, and Jesus, came out really good. And this is more of a figurative display rather than the literal, like my usual ones. So this is really like a comic book cover. It's not necessarily something that happens in the story, or it isn't something that's actually happening. I'm not trying to capture that, but it's more so Batman and his rogues, you know, circling him or coming in, imploding on him and his friends slash family. Yeah, I love this. And I'm using a Mysterio effect for Scarecrow, and from some of my other art projects right now, that's an aquarium. It's like an aquarium plant decor, and you put Poison Ivy on top of that, and she looks sick. I mean, this looks great, and it really just makes me want to go and get Mr. Freeze and Clayface and all these other guys, and really just round this out. But I'm really proud of how this looks. And then I posed up my Hot Toys PS4 Spider-Man to mimic the pose that he does in the PS5 Spider-Man 2 game, when he's like taking a picture of himself. Although I think his arm needs to be a little bit more straight like this, as I'm looking at it here and now, but nothing really new on that. But I got this Hot Toys Iron Man, and oh, it's so sick. It is beautiful. Yes, he does light up, but I tested it out and the batteries weren't really working right now. I don't know if I accidentally left it on. I don't think I did, but it's not working, and so I'd have to assume I did because I showed my brother him. But I have the pointed mask on him just to change up my Iron Man look that I rock with, because you know, it comes with this. These are his other parts, so if I ever want to swap it out, they're just readily here, because I'm still trying to figure out how I want them displayed. But anyway, that's some of the new stuff I've added, and so my detofs are looking, let's see if I can get them both in the shot. Pretty neat. Cool stuff in there. So, yes, that's what I've been up to. So not a lot except for this shelf, and that's what we're gonna get into now. So let's get into the video. So here is my before picture. You can see, if you're familiar with my older videos, this was what I had set up for my street level Marvel Knights display. It was pretty good. It was probably the best I have ever made it, with the most comprehensive view of the Marvel street level that I've ever done. So when I had moved to my new house, it was my first stab at putting something on the shelf and being satisfied with it. And I think it looked good for a little bit, but when I set up more and more displays, the less I really felt like I liked it, and I really didn't like how thin it got at the top. So I knew I needed to change it eventually, and I needed a better Ghost Rider, because I really wanted a Ghost Rider with a motorcycle featured on the shelf, which you can see he's just, in this display, he's just lunging with a makeshift chain and fire. It just didn't look good. So I knew that it was time to change it up. Before we get into the new displays, I wanted to showcase some of the displays I've seen from the community that feature the same group of characters. So the first one I wanted to highlight came from Spidey Lux, or ex-Spidey Lux. And so his stuff was really neat because he had a different group of characters, or he did something different with them, like adding Sentry, Red Hulk, and Namor. Although technically Namor does have the Defender's title, more so than, say, someone like Spider-Man. And who else? Shang-Chi. I don't even think, like, those are characters I would associate, but so technically that's more accurate. But yeah, again, just a really cool, lively looking display with these characters, and seeing how they're posed and how to make them look team oriented. I just find that to be difficult sometimes, and so it's really nice to see when other people are able to accomplish that with their figures. And so next up, we got some really cool stuff coming from the user Marquez MT. I apologize if I butchered your username. Now, his display really caught my attention when people were sending in their displays. And you can see his work is really good with no matter what group he's working with. But his Marvel Knights one has just stood out to me, and I was really excited to feature it in a video. Ranging from the cool concrete block smashing action from Luke Cage to Ghost Rider launching out of the middle of the group, Moon Knight in his cape swooping around him, Blade's super sick pose. I mean, not to mention, of course, the Iron Fist pose. It's all just so good, and I love looking at this. And I was bummed because, spoiler alert, I don't end up doing the thing with the motorcycle, but I thought about it a lot, and I got this actual motorcycle because of this user. He sent the pictures, and I was like, whoa, yeah, I need something. I need that in my display. I didn't do it, but it's cool to know that someone's out there doing it, and they're killing it, especially with the bendy wire chain rope. I mean, I'm going to do that too. So kudos to you, man. You're killing it, and I can't wait to see more from you. Okay, so we have our first crack at redoing and kind of experimenting with the displays here, and this was before I had the Ghost Rider, so I was just testing out what I wanted to do and the posing and the situating of the figures generally, and this already looked way better than what I was doing before. Now, I wasn't able to put in all the characters, so this is, again, just me drafting, figuring out, okay, I like how this person stands next to this person, and so forth. I also wanted to mention, I'm throwing Winter Soldier in to this group early on because I think he really does belong with this group more than any other that I have. He's not an Avenger, and he's not an X-Men or a Fantastic Four, and he's kind of like Black Widow, but without being connected to S.H.I.E.L.D. So I just really felt like he belonged with this group. But yeah, this is another version where I took him out. This looks also pretty good. I think it's very explosive. I really want to make sure I had Man-Thing in there. This was, again, I'm trying to make sure that I keep my heroes for hire together and trying to categorize like heroes together so that it makes sense when you're looking at it. But I really like to keep my core in the middle, right? So like Doctor Strange, Iron Fist, Moon Knight, Punisher, Spider-Man, Luke Cage. Those guys need to be in the middle because they're like the main characters of this display. And so I also thought Blade was pretty big too. But yeah, so you get the middle. I like to have Daredevil on the ground, the physical leader, and Spider-Man's the middle, the heart and soul of the team, and then Doctor Strange is kind of like the powerhouse leader. And then as we continue forth with the experimentation and posing, I threw up Clea. I like to have her kind of supporting Doctor Strange in the back. I got my cloak and dagger up. And, Daredevil's pose remains in the front and center. He doesn't change much. Some of those concepts are really like locked in. I started to feel less inclined to keep these characters together and just kind of throw them in where they fit. So, I kind of tried to loosen my uptightness with where exactly they fell. Like usually I'd have Miles with and next to Peter, but in this case I just threw him where I could fit him in. But I don't like here how Punisher's kind of in the back. That's not really ideal. So I have to keep working that through and figure out how I can fit him in, because right now that's the best place I could fit him with the current configurations that I was working with. And again, I wasn't able to put in Brother Voodoo or Man-Thing, and so yeah. Again, these minor challenges through each draft, I have to figure out, okay, how am I going to change it? Where are we going from here? And step back and then come, you have to step back, leave it, come back and see, okay, I like this, I don't like that, and, keep working to improve. So here, it's just another progression, another tweak and adjustment for each of these. As the iterations go, you can start seeing the patterns of what I'm keeping, which usually means like, yeah, I like where this goes. My eye would expect to see these characters here in a poster or something like that. Now, I do like how I have Wong and Clea behind Doctor Strange with this display, because usually I would have them like actually beside him, but it really adds this depth and puts Doctor Strange in the middle. I also have forgotten about Elektra, so I realized I need to put her somewhere in this somehow, because I feel like, I don't know, is she more of a hero than a villain, or more of a villain than a hero? Let me know in the comments below. So of course we got Elektra thrown in, and I've altered the positioning of Wong and Clea a little bit, again trying to see how they affect Doctor Strange's presence. I didn't really know where to put the Winter Soldier, and I'm messing with him some more. Again, changing the Blade's pose a little bit, but Elektra's in there, really launching out. It really helps sell that, I want to say it's like this explosive look that you see with like Jewel and Iron Fist. It helps even the I want to say the symmetry a little bit, where characters are launching out on that side. I guess for the viewers, the left side there. But again, you add some, you have to take some away. In this case, I lost Man-Thing. So I don't really like that. And I was starting to feel a little defeated, like I just wasn't going to figure this out. I mean, it was like a puzzle. And I've been working on this, honestly, for about a couple months now. Okay, and another version here, yet again, where I changed Elektra's pose to just be standing. I kind of wanted her more as a support figure for Daredevil a little bit. Not sure how I feel about it. Then moved Bucky over, moved Miles around again some more. I really I realized here that I wanted Clea and Strange behind, or Clea and Wong behind Strange, for the depth. And again, put Shang-Chi on a Flight Stand add a little bit more action. But again, Man-Thing isn't making it in, and neither is Brother Voodoo. I like this figure, and I really do want him in. Maybe I can fit him there. Oof. I don't know. I want to. I think that could look good. So finally, I got my Ghost Rider in the mail. This one was from AliExpress, so it was a bootleg. I don't really care because I'm not obsessed with Ghost Rider like that, so I wasn't like, I need an official version. But he looks sick. Definitely has a shelf presence, you know. So he looks great. It's definitely what I wanted for this shelf, to really sell the street levelness. I mean, what's more street level than a motorcycle, right? Like literal automobile. But yeah, I like the shape already way more. It looks more full and natural than my previous display. All right, so here I've started the painstaking process of moving things from my desk to the shelf itself, and it's been a challenge, I guess. So working from a desk, you're looking at it from a different angle than you are if you're looking at it on the shelf, and so I've had to do some tweaks already, where you're already seeing some new poses and placements and stuff like that. So yeah, you can see how I raised up Clea and Wong, and now I have that looks how I wanted it from the desk. I just didn't have the display tools to actually get that on the desk. So yeah, this has been more challenging as well. This whole display has just been honestly a big uphill battle for me from creatively. But yeah, I like how I have now Punisher up in the front, and I really wanted to feature Man-Thing. I think that's a really cool figure, and I'm really glad I have him on the shelf where I do, where he was really hidden in my last display. All right, so I got them all up on the shelf and rearranged some other things. Yeah, this is getting really close to where I feel like I might be done. I'm just gonna show it off a little bit. And then of course, Man-Thing is still visible, which was really important to me. And it's mirrored, you know, you have one bigger item and another bigger item. So we got the Ghost Rider motorcycle, and that looks super sick. Yeah, it's looking symmetrical. I got my core group with Doctor Strange, Spider-Man, Daredevil, Punisher, Luke Cage, all these guys right here. Jessica Jones is pretty much part of that, even though she didn't really actively fight crime with them. So important. Of course, we got Cloak and Dagger. I guess I'll point out, I just want to point out the things that I am not in love with. Like, I don't know, usually I like to say like, oh, these are the best poses I can come up with. I would say that's true for the most part. Definitely not for Shang-Chi. Probably not for Colleen Wing. It's okay. This figure is so fun to pose. The CT Toys Miles Morales. Holy smokes, I love that. The Iron Fist pose is pretty good. I guess the one I'm not really proud of is Blade. So mid, so basic. I don't really like that figure anymore. Dagger's fine. What else? I guess I thought there was more that I didn't really love, but honestly, I guess Clea is meh, but that's a pretty basic figure. Wong looks okay. Not the worst. Okay, so not much has changed here. All I did was try and move Miles a little closer to the group, which didn't really help. And then Ghost Rider keeps falling. Again, this is the bootleg, so I kind of expected there to be some problems, but I really need him to stay standing. I had to elevate him just a little bit using the styrofoam blocks. I think this is a pretty solid display, if I'm being honest. Like, I do like it a lot more. The shape and overall aesthetic is much better, and I feel like matches the rest of my stuff a little bit more, you know? Maybe let's take a step back and take a look. Let's see how the Legends wall looks. Yeah, looks pretty cool. That's cool. Yeah, this is a pretty big accomplishment. Sometimes I really just got to take a step back and really appreciate it. Anyway, So sometimes I have to do that to see if I like it. Oh my gosh, so I come home every day after work to check on, to see if basically Ghost Rider's fallen, and of course he has. Pretty decent, and I say decent, very minimal damage. Something that big could have really just taken that if it fell this way, but I mean, this has happened basically every other day since I've had it on the shelf. Not a great statistic. All right, we got him setting, so we'll give him another day. Gosh, I hope this works. Still looks cool, doesn't take away anything. It's launching out from the side. Looks neat. But we just gotta see, will he hold? Fingers crossed, guys. So I decided to finally add Winter Soldier to the display. And I genuinely believe this is probably the best place for him on the shelf. I am a little bummed that as a whole, you can't really see much of him. But when you go to look at him, he looks cool and he's doing something cool. And that figure doesn't really pose really nice. So I'm glad I got him in where I did. Next, we have Venom. Now, this figure's been in the storage bin for a very long time, but I actually really like it. And so I've been trying to see where would I put him, because I think he's more of a Marvel Knights now. Kind of an anti-hero similar and comparable to that of Punisher. So, but yeah, I've been looking at this figure and I love it. And so I snuck him in where I thought he would look good. And I'm really happy with it. I think he really kind of adds to the display in a way that I just haven't been able to capture before. And it's really starting to look really full, and in a good way, you know, in a way that I thought was missing, where my display just looked very like a Christmas tree in a really thin, I don't know, I can't put my words on it. But now that I'm where I'm at now with it, this looks very explosive and round, symmetrical, and even, with a lot of motion and life. So yeah, this was the right move. So I think that's going to wrap this video up. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching. If you made it all the way through to the end, that is awesome. I appreciate you. Thank you for your time and your attention. I hope you picked up some cool new things. And if you feel dissatisfied with your street level display, you can now go and mimic this and make it cool. I do have another video coming out. I've already have it planned out and what I want to do and what my goal is with it. So good news is that there'll be another video and it's actually planned and happening. So hopefully we won't have to wait as long. But like I said, I'm not really buying a ton of stuff right now. Nothing's coming out. So that means that no need to tweak the displays or have new things to show off necessarily. So, but anyway, we just keep going down and keep, you know, making videos when possible. And of course, I always appreciate comments. If you do want to continue to send your displays, make sure you do it at my Instagram. Links in the description below. And if you want to see my content a little more casually, follow me on Instagram. That's where I post reels, posing stuff, and polls, and basically a little bit more of engaging content there. But of course, again, thank you for watching. Keep collecting and displaying, and I'll see you guys in the next video.